Today, we are going to review the data that has already been entered into your MDinteractive account. We will begin by looking specifically at the PQRS reports. These reports will allow you to see errors in your data entry and any corrections that need to be made. Begin by choosing your favorite web browser and go to www.mdinteractive.com. Once on our homepage, you can then enter in your username and password to log into your MDinteractive account. Once you've logged on to your MDinteractive account, you will come to your account homepage. This homepage provides a summary of the data that you've already entered into your account. Please scroll down to the section titled PQRS Providers. In the section titled PQRS Providers, you will see a summary of the data that you have entered for your providers. You will notice in this section that you have entered in the Preventative Care Measures group, and that by looking at the PQRS payment adjustment, there are reporting errors. These errors are what we are going to focus on editing and reviewing today. As you scroll down underneath your PQRS Providers section, you will then notice the PQRS Reports section. Here is where there are reports that have more specifics about your data, as well as any errors or corrections that need to be made. You can access this report by simply clicking on the reports that are listed. For the purposes of this example, we are going to be looking at the errors in the Preventative Care Measures group for this provider. If you had not entered a measures group, but you had entered in individual measures, you would see a list of all of those measures individually here, and you could select any one of those individual measures and review the data for your provider. Again, for the purposes of this example, we will be looking specifically at the Preventative Care Measures Group report. The PQRS report for Preventative Care Measures Groups will appear. The PQRS report for Preventative Care Measures Group provides you with detailed information about the data that you have entered into the system. Let's begin taking a look at this report. The first field you will notice is titled Status. In this status column, you will see a list of error messages. These error messages will help you know what things still need to be cleaned in your report before you can either make final payment and before we would submit anything to CMS. The next column over is called Data Entry. As you can see, your data entry is still ongoing because you have errors. When you feel that your data entry is complete, you can change this by selecting it. By clicking on it, you can say that your data is finished. But for now, because there are still errors, we will remain ongoing in our data entry. Here you'll see the payment column, which is of course not paid because we have not yet cleaned and completed our data entry. You'll see that the provider consent is signed. You can see the name of the provider as well as their individual NPI and the tax ID that they use to bill Medicare. Next, you'll see the patient breakdown of the patients that have already been entered into the system. In this example, we have 10 Medicare patients completed, 9 non-Medicare patients, and a total of 19 patient records in the system. Please note, when completing a measures group, you do need at least 20 eligible patients, the majority of which must be Medicare patients. In that case, it would be at least 11 out of the 20. You can then begin to scroll over in the report, and you will notice that each of the measures within the Preventative Care Measures group are listed on this report. On measure number 39, the screening for osteoporosis for women aged 65 to 85 years old, you will see the performance rate as well as the reporting rate for the data that you have entered. In the center, you will see the benchmarking data. This data comes from CMS and gives you a benchmark for how nationally providers perform on this particular measure. As you scroll across, you will see each of the measures and the performance or reporting rate for the data that you have entered as it compares to the national benchmarks. As you can see on measure number 431, there is a reporting rate that is in red. This red reporting rate of 52.63% indicates that there is data that is missing for measure number 431. In order to successfully pass CMS, reporting rates must be 100%. so there is work to be done on this measure. We will scroll back and take a look at how to do that. This status column will give you more information in regards to the errors within your report. As you can see, the first error listed here suggests that there are not full 20 patients, which is required in order to successfully report a measures group. This is obvious by the fact that the total patients entered into the system is only 19. Therefore, we need to enter at least one more Medicare patient to successfully complete this measure. The next error message down refers to the reporting rate, a reporting rate of less than 100%. By taking your cursor and hovering over the blue dot, you can gather more information in regards to the error. In this case, a reporting rate of less than 100% is not allowed. And you can see that for measure 431, there are patients that we need to enter data on. For specifically measure number 431. The best way to edit this data is to simply come over to your provider's name, and by clicking or selecting your provider's name, you will pull up a list of all 19 patients that have been entered. I will do this now. Here, you will see a full list of the patients and the data that have been entered. You'll see that the 19 records are all listed here. To access a patient's record and to edit the patient record, you simply select the patient's name. To return back to the full PQRS report, simply close this window that you are working in with the patient-specific summaries, and you will return back to the full report. I'd like to show you an option for exporting some of this data so that you have copies of your own. The first place to export data is here on the main page. In the corner, you will see the option to export the table data. This will do just as the name states. It will export the data that you see in this table, showing the measures, the performance, and reporting rates for the data that you have entered. Please note that all of the reports that you see here to the right are for internal purposes only and will not work. The other exporting option is for the patient-specific information. Again, by selecting your provider's name, you will generate the list of all of the data entered by patient. Scroll down to the bottom of this list and you will see again another option to export table data. This will be the patient-specific data. As one final reminder, once all of your errors have been completed and all of your patient data has been entered successfully, you then will want to select Data Entry Finished. By clicking on it, you can change it from ongoing to finished, designating that you feel your data is complete and clean and ready to go. This concludes our tutorial on how to review your PQRS reports. If you have any error messages or concerns that are unclear or are unable to edit, please feel free to join us via online chat at www.MDinteractive.com or contact us over phone. Our experienced agents are ready and available to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you.